that presentation, I'll stop sharing my video. And please let me know if there are any hiccups, Amy, if that's okay.
I sure will.
Thank you so much. So without further ado, I'll start speaking about the National Climate League, which is our main project. Oh, sorry about that. I'm struggling to change the slide. Okay. So the National Climate League project has the goal of using cities as the key pathway for a climate policy solution. We say that the project aims to instill a sense of agency and community through citizen engagement with participatory democracy. So what that means is that the National Climate League is a massive data collection project that's powered and really handled by citizens. So we have citizens gathering data on a list of indicators. We have 30 indicators that represent living a better life in Canada and or very linked to climate change in the environment and kind of the environmental justice advocacy. So they range from a diversity of topic, and I can share them on the next slide. Here we go. So in terms of primary indicators, we have affordable housing, air quality. We have a lot on transport with bike lanes, EV charging stations. We have some on energy, we have some on waste. We have some on local agriculture, and we also have the tree canopy cover. So all of those are collected all by citizens, and how that's done is through reaching out often to the municipalities themselves, or when they can't, it's information that is actually accessible online to citizens. These indicators have been chosen with based on 5 criteria: accessibility, comparability across cities, the ability of the municipal government to act on these, and their impact on greenhouse gases emission, and if citizens have a particular interest in doing that. We collect those in really across Canada, and that way people are able to be involved across the country and really compare each other. We also have the complementary indicator that include things such as dietary choices. Do your municipality require and facilitates low carbon menu options, so vegetarian or vegan? Or do you have divestment, for example, initiatives implemented in your city? But we also just look at the total emissions of each city, so we're able to compare them. I'll go over the results of the 2020 standings, and that's a summary table. But so just so that you understand, if I take the example of one, like the bike lane indicator, let's say, it was Calgary that was the winner. And that means that in terms of the indicator, which is the total amount of bike lanes per municipality, Calgary had the best score within all of the cities that participated. That means that it can inspire, for example, municipalities to do great. And we really emphasize a big part of the NCL every year is to explain what are public policies that can explain why this city has actually won that indicator that specific year. We also include in the NCL standing, so a document, which I will drop the link in the chat actually as soon as my presentation is done. You can also find international highlights, so examples on what other cities across the world have done to have their municipality do better in some of these themes. In my next part of the presentation, I'll talk a little bit of the highlight and key trends of our 2020 results. The number one is really a shared vehicle indicator. So the number of vehicle per capita is decreasing. And that is one trend that we've noticed over the year. We measure the number of shared vehicle per 100,000 residents across. And this could be explained, for example, as like car sharing companies such as Car2Go that have left North America in 2020. They've quoted infrastructure trouble and could no longer operate. So we could be interesting to see municipalities develop their own car sharing initiatives if these kind of trends continue. We know we've seen increasing numbers of bike sharing systems, electric bike sharing systems. So that's one trend that could be interested in, that we're definitely interested in looking at. In terms of the indicator on affordable housing, we look at the increase or decrease in housing price over the course between 2015 and 2019. And actually, 2020 was the first year that Ottawa surpassed Montreal. And we all know that housing with COVID and with catastrophes that have been happening, such as floods, is becoming a huge crisis in Canada at the moment. So being able to look at data and use that to go to your council to advocate for, oh, we need a policy on affordable housing, is one way to use the NCL. The third indicator that I want to highlight is the sustainable building indicator. We've consistently, since the NCL has started, which was in 2018, seen BC municipalities lead in that. And that could be explained by really indicative of just the strong provincial policies that are in place, but that also help and support cities themselves in order to have more sustainable buildings. So once again, I refer to the NCL itself to have more information of the type of policies that can lead to more sustainable buildings in cities. And finally, the last indicator I will talk about here is air quality. So one troubling trend that we've seen across this indicator since the NCL started in 2018 is that there's been a decrease in air quality across the country. There can be many of reasons for that, including the increase in frequency, but also the severity of forest fires. But it's something to keep in mind and to really advocate for. And once again, the data from the NCL allows to take the data and to bring it to council to say that things need to be acted on. In terms of the big picture, those are a few conclusions of our project. The cities that are performing well in certain indicators continue to perform well over time. But we're very optimistic in the sense of cities that perform poorly in an indicator also start to see improvement over time. And that's because of all the advocacy work and all the citizens that really take on the data that they gather, or basically anyone could take the NCL and bring it as a tool for advocacy and lobbying for change. So all in all, what the project aims to really instill is that citizen involvement and transparency of data is really key for climate advocacy. And that's all. I took a bit of time for questions if there are any, because I realized I did speak pretty fast during this whole presentation. So I hope it was okay.
Yeah, we have a few minutes for questions if anyone wants to raise their hand. I think you did a good job of explaining everything, Margot. Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate your presentation. You were here last night. So again, thank you for joining us again. Your internet was perfect, so yay. Wonderful. All right, so I think we're gonna head into our lunch breaks.